The underground gymnasium fell silent as two legends stepped into the octagon. Steam rose from the heated concrete floor, and the crowd of elite fighters held their breath. This wasn't just another exhibition match. This was the collision of two worlds that had been brewing for decades. On one side stood Jason Statham, the man who transformed himself from a competitive diver into Hollywood's most credible action star. His calloused knuckles told stories of countless film sets where the stunts were real, the impacts genuine. Across from him, Billy Blanks, the martial arts virtuoso whose Thai Bo revolution had conquered millions of living rooms worldwide, yet whose tournament fighting credentials remained largely hidden from the public eye. The question that had haunted fight enthusiasts for years was finally about to be answered. What happens when cinematic brutality meets authentic martial arts mastery? Statham's reputation wasn't built on movie magic alone. Before cameras ever rolled, he was diving competitively for England's national team, developing the kind of explosive power and spatial awareness that would later make his fight choreography legendary. His training regimen reads like a warrior's manual. Kickboxing sessions that leave heavy bags and tatters, knife fighting techniques learned from military consultants, and a conditioning program that would break ordinary mortals. Watch Statham move, and you'll notice something most action stars lack: authentic timing. His strikes carry the weight of someone who understands real violence. The way he pivots on his lead foot during combinations isn't choreographed prettiness, it's biomechanical efficiency learned through years of actual contact training.
But here's where it gets interesting. Statham's background reveals a crucial weakness that many overlook. His martial arts journey began relatively late in life, after his athletic career had already peaked. While he possessed extraordinary physical tools and Hollywood's best trainers, he lacked the deep-rooted muscle memory that comes from starting martial arts in childhood. His striking style, though powerful and cinematically effective, sometimes reveals gaps that a trained eye can exploit. His defensive positioning occasionally favors what looks good on camera over what works in reality. Against most opponents, his raw athleticism and relentless training would compensate, but Billy Blanks wasn't most opponents. Billy Blanks entered that gymnasium carrying secrets that fitness DVD buyers never suspected. Before he became the smiling face of living room workouts, Blanks was a tournament destroyer. His competitive karate record reads like a combat fairy tale. Multiple world championships, victories over legends like Benny Urquidez, and a fighting style that blended explosive kicks with boxing combinations that few could match. The fitness industry had transformed Blanks into a household name, but it had also obscured his true nature. This wasn't just an instructor who created energetic workout routines. This was a man who had spent decades perfecting the art of controlled violence. His flexibility remained supernatural even into his 60s, allowing him to deliver head kicks with the speed of jabs. Blanks possessed something that can't be taught in Hollywood gyms: fight IQ, developed through thousands of sparring sessions and actual competitions. He could read an opponent's intentions 3 moves ahead, setting traps that looked like opportunities until it was too late.
Yet Blanks carried his own burden into this confrontation. Years of teaching fitness classes had softened some of his killer instinct. The mindset required to hurt another human being had been buried beneath decades of motivational speaking and encouraging suburban moms through their workout routines. The question wasn't whether he still possessed the skills, it was whether he could access the predatory mindset that championship fighting demands. The first 30 seconds revealed everything. Statham came forward with typical Hollywood aggression, clean combinations, textbook footwork, and the kind of relentless pressure that had made him famous. His jab found its mark twice, snapping Blanks' head back and drawing approving murmurs from the crowd. But experienced fighters in attendance noticed something else. Blanks wasn't retreating, he was measuring. Each of Statham's attacks was being cataloged, studied, and filed away for future reference. The fitness guru's movement remained fluid despite absorbing those early shots, a testament to conditioning that most 50-something men couldn't dream of maintaining.
Statham's confidence grew with each successful combination. His background in film had taught him that aggression often wins fights before they truly begin. He pressed forward, looking to overwhelm his older opponent with youth and ferocity. Then, Billy Blanks smiled.
Yet Blanks carried his own burden into this confrontation. Years of teaching fitness classes had softened some of his killer instinct. The mindset required to hurt another human being had been buried beneath decades of motivational speaking and encouraging suburban moms through their workout routines. The question wasn't whether he still possessed the skills, it was whether he could access the predatory mindset that championship fighting demands. The first 30 seconds revealed everything. Statham came forward with typical Hollywood aggression, clean combinations, textbook footwork, and the kind of relentless pressure that had made him famous. His jab found its mark twice, snapping Blank's head back and drawing approving murmurs from the crowd. But experienced fighters in attendance noticed something else. Blanks wasn't retreating, he was measuring. Each of Statham's attacks was being cataloged, studied, and filed away for future reference. The fitness guru's movement remained fluid despite absorbing those early shots, a testament to conditioning that most 50-something men couldn't dream of maintaining. Statham's confidence grew with each successful combination. His background in film had taught him that aggression often wins fights before they truly begin. He pressed forward, looking to overwhelm his older opponent with youth and ferocity. The tide turns. What happened next would be replayed in slow motion for years afterward. As Statham committed to another forward combination, Blanks subtly shifted his weight, creating an angle that existed for less than half a second. His counterattack wasn't the explosive kick that spectators expected. Instead, he delivered a perfectly timed uppercut that caught Statham between breaths. The Hollywood star stumbled backward, his eyes wide with the sudden realization that he was facing something different than expected. This wasn't the cheerful fitness instructor from television. This was the man who had once knocked out opponents with techniques they never saw coming. Blanks followed up with a combination that showcased 30 years of fighting evolution. A low kick to destabilize, a straight punch to occupy the hands, and then a spinning heel kick that whistled past Statham's ear by millimeters, a warning shot that announced the real fight was beginning. The middle rounds became a masterclass in contrasting approaches to combat. Statham's strength shone through his relentless conditioning and raw power. Every punch carried knockout intentions, and his takedown attempts showed grappling skills that went far beyond what his movies suggested. He absorbed punishment with the stoicism of someone accustomed to real impacts, never backing down even when clearly hurt. His youth advantage became apparent in the later rounds, where his recovery time between exchanges kept him dangerous even as fatigue set in. Statham's mental toughness, forged through years of performing his own stunts and pushing through physical barriers, refused to let him quit. Blanks countered with techniques that seemed to defy physics. His kicks found targets that shouldn't have been reachable, and his defensive positioning made Statham's best shots graze harmlessly off shoulders and arms. Decades of teaching had given Blanks an almost supernatural awareness of body mechanics. He could see openings before they fully developed and exploit them with surgical precision. The veteran's ring generalship became the deciding factor. While Statham fought with passionate intensity, Blanks fought with calculated intelligence. He made every movement count, wasting no energy on techniques that wouldn't advance his position or create opportunities. By the fourth round, Statham's Hollywood training began to crack under pressure. His powerful combinations became predictable patterns that worked for 2-minute film sequences but failed against a decade-seasoned competitor. Blank's championship experience proved decisive. He timed every attack perfectly, slipping punches by millimeters and countering with surgical precision. The turning point arrived when Statham, frustrated by his inability to connect cleanly, overcommitted to a takedown. Blank's textbook sprawl and devastating knee strike showcased 40 years of martial arts mastery. In the final minutes, both legends displayed their greatness. Statham pressed forward relentlessly despite bleeding, his determination unshakable. But Blanks had found his rhythm. His techniques flowed like water around Statham's attacks, each counter carrying lifetime precision. The decisive moment came with 30 seconds left. Statham launched his most committed combination of the night. Blanks slipped the first punch, parried the second, then delivered a perfectly timed hook kick that dropped Statham to one knee. When the bell rang, Billy Blanks had proven that authentic martial arts mastery trumps even the most dedicated Hollywood training. Behind the fitness instructor's smile lived a fighter among the greatest of his generation. Real masters aren't made in movie studios, they're forged in dojos.